kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would dare threaten me?
Dragon can fall. We'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall. Your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall. You are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who dare threaten you.
We have no fear of your ancient power. Your weapon fire will not make us cower. We're here to tell you that the spells are cast. You will not last the night.
You are the fools who will now feel my wrath.
Dragon can fall. We'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall. Your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall. You are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who now will fight back.
Quick, grab the magic bow. All distracted. You'll never defeat me, dragon.
Prepare to meet your doom.
'Dragon can fall. We slayed him with our mighty swords. 'Dragon can fall. His heart will now be ours. 'Dragon can fall. He was the beast we're training for.
We are the party who claim victory.
1,000 years you've been reigning terror, stoking up fears from deep in your lair. We're here to tell you that your time has come. This is our kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would dare threaten me?
Dragon can fall. We'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall. Your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall. You are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who dare threaten you.
We have no fear of your ancient power. Your weapon fire will not make us cower. We're here to tell you that the spells are cast. You will not last the night.
You are the fools who will now feel my wrath.
Dragon can fall. We'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall. Your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall. You are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who now will fight back.
Quick, grab the magic bow. All distracted. You'll never defeat me, dragon.
Prepare to meet your doom.
about the old prophecy. And we all sing songs at the tavern of the fights that we have won. And we dream about our next victory. Come away, adventure calls today. And tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's drink one more ale. But we won't burn down the tavern like the times we did before. It was not our fault, we swear honestly. But we'll do our dance at the tavern with the bards who've traveled far. And we'll ask them of the places they've seen. Come away, adventure calls today. And tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's drink one more ale. I feel the call of the world far outside, and the glory that soon could be ours. Let's form a team and we'll take to the wild. And we won't burn down the tavern. No, we won't burn down the tavern. No, we won't burn down the tavern. Come away, adventure calls today. And tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's drink. But before we go, let's drink. But before we go, let's drink one more ale.
Hello, welcome to Office Hours, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. It's me, Devin. I'm here to talk to you about what's new, what's happening, what's going to happen, etc. Let me know if I'm coming in loud and clear. It wouldn't be Office Hours if there wasn't some sort of technical hurdle that came out. Let's see. It sounds like there's no problem. I'm not seeing anything. So it looks like stuff is good. Okay, I love it. There's so much to talk about. Somehow, no technical hurdle. So is it really an office hour? Okay, so quick updates. There's only like 20 or so of the new design left. So if you want to get yours, get it. That's the new merch. I'll go ahead and throw it up on the screen too. I think I got one of the designs somewhere. Let's see what we got. Downloads. Where's that new merch? There it is. Yeah. Boom. Look at that. Oh, I love this design. Okay. But merch, there's only so much left. So if you want it, get it. Yeah, I think it's out of sync because I use a dock. I think that's why my audio is out of sync is because I'm using a laptop and I'm docked into it. But what are you going to do? That's fine. I'm not going to try to sync it up with the offset on OBS. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about, see what we got first. Okay, scenario filters. Y'all are gonna love this. So, I believe everyone here is kind of already familiar with scenario filters. It's a test that we've been doing. I'm gonna go ahead and drop in a screenshot, or I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you can see the scenario filters in use. Let's see. Let's see. Leland, if you didn't receive your shirt, I believe Kiwi will probably get back to you this week. They're in the studio once a week doing shipping. So if something happened with yours, they'll go ahead and get it fixed. SPG. Chrome. Okay. Application capture. Window capture. I'm going to capture Chrome. Here we go. Okay. So this is the scenario filters. You see these up here? I'll go ahead and make it even bigger too. Leland, all the TPC stuff goes to there, goes out to that general inbox. So that's what I mean. That like Kiwi will see that and make sure it gets handled. But I'll take a look right after this too, just see if there's something I can do. Okay, so scenario filters, things like play today, few seats left, new campaigns, learn to play D&D, top GM, play by post, exclude D&D, for beginners, high level, Daggerheart, Dungeons and Dragons. Etc. So these are all the different scenario filters that we launched with for our test. And our test is coming back, and we are seeing some really cool results. Let's see. Let me make sure I have the exact updated from the past 2 hours. And also make sure I have my... Yes. Okay. So we are seeing anywhere between like 10 to 20% increase in conversions where the first-time users have scenario filters as an option for search. So we're seeing a much higher conversion rate. That's great. But let's go ahead and talk about what are people looking for. This is what people are clicking on. New campaigns, play today, few seats left, learn to play D&D, for beginners, Dungeons and Dragons, top GMs, exclude D&D, play by post, and others. So this is kind of like the breakdown of what customers are looking for when it comes to the scenario filters. Cheyenne, I'll actually be talking about Top GM next, and I'll go into more detail about that too. I'm not ignoring your question. But Cheyenne, thanks so much for putting your question in chat with all caps question, and then the question following that. That helps me find your questions. So yeah, this is kind of the breakdown of how the users who are in this test are selecting the different items from the test. You can see that new campaigns is the most popular. New campaigns, if we go back to this, let's see. New campaigns, what it does is it finds either sessions that haven't started, or it finds campaigns that are active that have had no more than 3 sessions fire. So, Nina, I think I was just answering that. But so these are campaigns that have had 3 or less sessions. Qatar SR, probably not. It won't be as useful. Mainly because people that are looking for other games, they know what game they want to learn. Even this data here shows us that excluding D&D isn't a huge goal of our users. Learning to play D&D is the biggest one for a lot of our new users. That's what they're coming for. But we have exclude D&D for those people that are looking for that. But we're not seeing a lot of our people that are looking for learn to play these other systems. Now, as we see, you'll see in this, we also have Daggerheart, right? We put in Daggerheart because we're partnered with them and we're doing this big kind of activation that was happening. So there's a lot of interest in it. So that's how I think the scenario filters will continue to be leveraged, is if, let's say we're doing an event with Cosmere, which we are. Cosmere would be a great call out to put in there because people are going to be looking for that. What does play today mean? Buzz King. Play today means play today. Let's go ahead and I'll share my screen again and we'll go through it. Play today. This is showing me games that are happening today, starting at the current time, that are ready to start or are active. So these have enough people to actually happen. So if I go through here, underneath a Crooked Moon, Season of the Ghost, Adventure in Anima, this is essentially like the minimum has been met. Let's see, go here. Someone in chat is asking, can you combine learn? No. So scenario filters, because of how the logic works, you want to try to reduce as many times as possible where someone could get 0 results. So all of these filters are an or, not an and. So scenario filters can't be combined. If you select a new one, it actually just goes to that one instead, because of how that logic has to work. Now, you can use a scenario filter and regular filters, and that's what we're more likely we're going to see out of users. Odd squirrel. Let's see. This is like 5,000 users, something like that. No, 3,200 users that this came from. How to get your listing listed as learn to play? Great question. So there's probably going to be something that we're going to do differently in the future. But for the test, what we did is we looked for games that were marked as D&D and for beginners. That's really the big thing we looked for here. So is it and I believe it's also just one shots? Yes. So is it a one shot? Is it D&D? And is it for beginners? Now, we're going to want to like find a way to make that a little more clear in the future, but this is a test, right? And so we need to see like, are people interacting with it and does it lead to a larger transaction? Let's see. Play today might be worth trying for some one shots. Exactly. Waffle being guaranteed to play today. No, but I mean, the thing is, we're probably going to tweak a lot of these before we put too much. And I've talked to y'all about this. One of the ways we really like to work with our testing is we don't want to build the final feature in the test because that might take us 2-3 weeks. Whether if we can do something in 4 days and then test it in 2 weeks and know that it works, then we can spend just a week putting in the most important features from what we were able to test from. So that's why like the learn to play is like a little janky, but we're seeing wins here. And so we're seeing anywhere from like 13 to around 13, 18, 13, 20% uplift in the test version. So I don't know how to play says, hey, how about adding like where there's only one seat left? Well, that's why we actually have few seats left, which is for 2 or less seats. 2 or less seats is the few seats left. All right, let's see. I think I got everyone's questions here. Cool. All right. So now let's talk about the top GM. Top GM. You see this? We have this top GM badge. And some of the GMs, when you go into it, you'll see that they have the top GM badge here, and that shows up here. This is actually a number of things that triggers this. There's about 40 things that can be measured on. And what we did is we looked to see like, hey, if a new player plays with a GM, what is the likelihood that they continue playing on StartPlaying or that they continue playing with that GM? So that's one of the things, that's like one of the bigger aspects we looked. But we also looked at like the history of that user, everything from, well, we looked at that modeling report that I was talking to you about 2 weeks ago. I wonder if I have that up here. We also look at player data. So like if a player has like little data, then it doesn't swing as much, but the more player data there is, the more we know like if that player's flaky or if that player's really committed. The session count, transaction count, dollar count, request count, cutoff time, tilt time, follower count, request count, dollar count, request month of year, host retention rate, adventure cost, player rate, player free count, player skip count, host year on SPG, host experience. There's all these different things that kind of break down into it. Now, right now, it is not a dynamic rating or dynamic status. We just kind of looked at, we try to find around 25% of GMs that would fit this. And we just auto applied it in the test. It's only to new users. We learned something wild. I was taken aback. Let's see. Question: is there a tool for making maps on the site, or do you have to upload on your own maps? Dead Ponic. We're not a VTT, so I can't help you there. We're not. Yeah, I think we're a service, not a virtual tabletop. So Gavin, so there are a few things. You have to have run at least 20 sessions. You have to have at least, I think, like 10 or 20 reviews. There are some easier ones, but if we roll this out at a larger path, we'll kind of like say like, hey, here's things you need to hit. But still, we're missing. I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you about the most shocking thing I learned about this test. But I'm going to go through and read your questions first. We have, does Top GM require a certain number of games? Any tips for a brand new GM who is about to post their first game for people to join in? Zebro, take the onboarding. Read the articles on the blog. Go through into the Discord and read all the other advice people are being given in the GM listing Discord. Don't go and post your own first. Read the advice other people are giving. There's a lot of advice out there for you. I cannot surmise it in a few words here on this webinar or on this office hours, but there's tons of resources. Make sure to use all of them. What is the wildest thing you learned? Okay. Nina, yes, because the reason why you don't see it is you're not a new user. See, here's the thing we realized. Every time we ran tests, GMs ruined the test. Now, it's not your fault, but GMs typically are just really interested in how things work. So when we do a general test that everyone has access to, we notice that GM accounts will trigger everything. They'll explore all of it. And so it usually kind of throws off some of our data. So that's why like this is only to new users. So you wouldn't see GM activities happening. If we had GMs in this test, I would see like 99% of users had done the exclude D&D filter. Okay. So there's a bunch of other questions coming through that aren't about what we're talking about right now, and I want to make sure I have time to go over those, and I will. But let me finish talking about Top GM, and then we can go from there. Aaron, yeah, well, you're not streaming on StartPlaying. You are, the actual stream doesn't happen on StartPlaying. So as long as everyone's happy, that's fine. Okay, let me go ahead and bring up this experiment. Because I want to make sure I kind of read this right. So at first I was like, hey, this is probably going to be, I thought, one, you can't change player behavior. You can't change player behavior. Players are going to book with whoever they want to book. And if a player books with a GM that we have modeling that says they're likely to also have their first game played with that GM if they join with this GM, I kind of was under the thought process that players, regardless of what they're doing, are going to have these trends set. So if a player joins with a GM who 70% of the time, when someone signs up to play with this GM, they do, right? And I think maybe it's players. There's certain players that are just flaky, and that's kind of why we see these metrics with different GMs. But that was my thinking, right? And I wouldn't know if I was wrong until we test it. So that's what we did. And what we looked at is hey, when we show this Top GM badge, do people book with those GMs more? Do we have a higher conversion rate? Do the people who book with those GMs then also, do they end up becoming higher retained customers? Do they play longer? Do they onboard faster? Here's the result. When we show Top GM, the conversion rate on search let me make sure I have this right. That's a much higher number. Okay. Yes, it's 10% higher when you have Top GM. So the Top GM badge has a 10% higher conversion. Now, that's interesting, but there's more. In in the test, only 10% of the game masters who was booked in the test were top GMs. And in the non-test, 5% of those GMs were booked. So it doubled the amount of bookings that the top GMs would have, right? But the overall number of new users, because of the increased conversion rate, meant that there was another 30% more people that were booking in this test. I'm looking at the over 3 days time, not the page of checkout, but over 3 days, the conversion rate was. Let me make sure I have this right. Was about 20% higher. So we had 20% more customers come in the test version, but only 10% customers were actually booking with the top GM. What? That doesn't make it. It's funny because it's really hard to know exactly why that's the case. But let's say you had in the test 100 customers book, right? 10 of those customers booked with a top GM. And let's say in the control, you had 70 customers book, and 3 of them were booking with the top GM, so like 5%. The test resulted in more bookings for non-top GMs, just more bookings generally. And top GMs did grow, but overall the growth was much larger. That's shocking. There's a couple theories we have behind this, but we don't have anything that we can say 100% true. Let's see. Wow. So SPG is matching market and pairing top GMs well, improve conversions for all users. This news blows my mind. I know it's. I didn't think it would happen. I thought there would be a higher conversion rate, but I also didn't think that would change the onboarding rate for players. Here's what's crazy though. If I go back to experiments, there we go. So the onboarding rate for the test was also higher, which means overall, more people who join games in the experiment also were charged in those games, which means these people like, hey, I'm gonna join this game, and I'm actually gonna play in it, right? And that from joining to playing is a really important thing. We call that onboarding. You join, but then you're charged, right? That right there is the onboarding. A 34% onboarding rate, and we only have like a week and a half worth of data, right? So usually within 14 days, we see around 70-80% of onboarding. But 34% of onboarding in the experiment with a 20% onboarding in the control. It still blows my mind that this happened. It's just, it's crazy. Sounds like a wildly successful test, and that top GM is not an important filter. I mean, I think it's an important filter. It's just it's not as impactful to the. It's more impactful to the larger demographic of GMs than it is just to the top GMs. Let's see. Was this a test also done at the same time as the other tests for checkout? No, all these tests are kind of run independently of each other. Does it seem like the badge correlates with a higher confidence in players? They felt so here's the thing, Jetcart. It seems that the badge maybe just makes people more confident in their idea to purchase from StartPlaying than it is necessarily to purchase with a top GM, because we didn't see an overwhelming amount of people shift to people who had a top GM badge. We saw more people that didn't have a badge get bookings as far as the growth. Let's see. And so here's a couple ideas. One, maybe it subconsciously makes users think that this is a competitive marketplace. And so having like a top and a regular tier means that like there is going to be quality in both, right? Kind of like Airbnb. You don't see a lot of trash in Airbnb because it just doesn't get to stay on. You also never have like an Uber driver that has anything lower than a 4.5. So there could be something that is happening subconsciously there. There's a few other things where people might be seeing top GM like, oh, that's really expensive, and they might be thinking to themselves like, this person isn't a top GM, they're probably a deal, or it's probably they're about to become a top GM or something like that. Does that mean top GM is actually a negative or it's a win-win? I mean, I think it's a win-win. I want to let this continue to run to get more data, but what it looks like is the GMs who have the highest rate of onboarding saw a double increase in booking. But overall, we saw around a 20 to 30% more people booking. And like I said, we went from 5% top GM in the control to 10% of all those bookings were top GM, right? So that doubled. But the amount of overall bookings grew 20 to 30%, which means people who are not top GMs saw more bookings than the top GMs did. That sounds good with my 2 biweekly games I run. Creates confidence in the marketplace for QA. Yeah, that's a great assumption as well, Friday. But we're gonna let it continue to run. We want to get the data. We want to make sure that this is impactful change and that it's good. Because it's hitting everything we want. I'll tell you this. I really thought that if we got more users to book with top GMs, we would see the onboarding rate the same with those players with the top GMs. I thought like it couldn't change. We didn't change player behavior. A few more players booked with top GMs, but generally player behavior didn't change. But what we did see is some of those players ended up having a much higher onboarding, and the onboarding overall for other GMs also went up. Gavin says, if there are top GMs, are there also bottom GM badges? There are not. We are thinking about 2 other ideas for because it's not really much of a badge. Is it a status? Because it'll be dynamic. Like you can filter in and out of it. But there's also the idea of in the future doing a recommended badge based off of hey, this person runs games the way you probably want to play. But we have to kind of gather more information on players at the sign up process or more insights from players to kind of do that. But recommended, and then a highly loved or highly sought after, highly played. There's another we're thinking about testing another tier. So there's 2 different kind of statuses you can get, much like it could be highly reviewed, popular, rising star, beloved, something like that, or recommended. But we are going to look at trying to introduce a second status to see, does this compound the effects or does this kind of water them down? Okay. Any other questions on the top GM badge before I move forward? Do you think there'd be more impact if there were multiple GM tags like verified GM, top GM? Oh, Oscar Rodriguez. That's what I was just talking about. Yeah. That's probably one of the next tests we'll be doing. Let's see. Is there a top GMs? Are there also no, we had just talked about that. How about using the statistics from reviews like highlight creative tag? Nina, we're going to talk about that in just a second. With the top GM badge yielding unexpected results, how does this affect the idea of other kinds of badges we were polled about a little while ago? DM10, it's interesting. We are probably going to be looking at some of the outcomes of another product we'll be testing that I'm going to be talking about next, and I'll get into that after I finish. Oh, no, your last question. But DM Dan, players were generally just not interested in those badges, and that's why we kind of didn't explore them more. But that's why we're also looking at a new way to revamp the GM search page. So next up, I'm talking about the GM search page. You've seen it, you know it. You probably don't love it. Let's go here. Let me go and pop it up. All right. The GM search page leaves much to be desired. It's not great. It lets you search by game system, platform, and by name, and that's not a lot. Let me go ahead and see if I can bring up the. Let me see if I can bring up the redesign that Nina has been working on. Nina, one of our amazing product designers. Shout out. Okay, back to files. Let's see if I can find this. Design, build. Okay, well, now I have to go into Slack to find it. Okay. Design general, design feedback. Okay, well, now, oh, you know what? I know where it is. It's in the PRD. Find GM's page A/B test. There we go. All right. Round 1. Okay. Oh. Nina. I'm in here, Nina. Okay. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so we're going to change some of these filters. I want to play, and you can put in, hey, what thing do you want to play? What do you want to play per session? What time zone are you looking for games in? What language are you looking for games in? How do you want to sort your list by? I want to look for GMs that are highly rated for, and this would be based off of what you're highly rated for on your reviews page. So creativity, learning, tools that they use, and identity. So these are some things that we're looking at adding into this test. And if we go here, here's another version of it. And you also see that the GM card is changing a little bit. So we'd have kind of like the games hosted, what time zone they're in, the location, responds in, the languages they speak. You'll see that there's, you can see that pronouns, identity tags, what they're highly rated for, all of these kind of details. And so these are what some of the kind of, and then like this has a little bit of a description. And you can also heart them from here. So this is very cool. We like this. Hi, Nina. Everyone, there's Nina. Oh, you can say hello. Hello. All right. Leland, what does my identity entail? Leland, I'll go ahead and show you what that is. There's these things called self-identity tags that you can go ahead and apply. So if we go here to Machado, their identity is veteran. They're a veteran, so they are a U.S. military veteran. If we go back to GM search and find Robert, Robert has no identities that they're adding, but they speak English. Let's see. We go here to Travis D. Travis is an artist and a game designer. Those are the identity tags. So there's a bunch of them. You can go to here to Sam. Sam is LGBTQ, disabled, neurodivergent, artist, and women, femme identifying. Okay. Beginner friendly is way better than teacher as a GM tag. Yeah, is that what we're doing? Is that what they launched? Yeah, beginner friendly. Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, so that is what we are. Nina just sent me the link to it. I didn't realize it. Okay. So yeah, that's the Find GMs page. We're A/B testing this. Let's see. Well, Sunflower Spirited, if you actually choose the self-identity tag teacher, that's what it's for. If someone is reviewing you because you're a good teacher of the game, then you'll get the beginner friendly tag. Okay. Let's see. Okay, this isn't a big one, but we're going to be doing a homepage test probably in the next 3-4 weeks. We're going to do some homepage hero tests. We're going to be doing a test to display player profiles before booking. Like what happens when you can see player, if a player wants to be able to see player profiles. We're working on a design and a test for saving games and showing you how many times a game has been saved. So you can see other social proof, and you can follow that game. If you're like, I'm not ready to book, but I want to save it. That's a project that Nick is working on. Okay. There's an A/B test that we're going to be running that's going to be kind of controversial, and I need to run it because it does make sense if doing this test makes the pro GM community increase their bookings, then it's worth doing. And that test is to remove free games from search. Now, this is going to be a test. We have less than 5% of games on StartPlaying are free games. So I don't think it'll be a huge impact, but we're going to do this to see what the impact is, because if it is impactful, then it is something we need to seriously consider, especially because we are first and foremost here to make pro GMs be able to have a thriving community of players. But it might not change anything. But we're going to test it, because testing is how we know if something will help. If it does help, then we got to do it, because that's our thing. You succeed. We succeed when you succeed. Game Turtle. Yeah, if your game is free, it would not show up in search. You'd only be able to get to it if someone sends you the direct link. But it's a test, and I'll keep you posted when we start running it and how it goes. Okay. Oh, we got a bunch of questions. Question. I've noticed several GMs on the platform using the exact same or very similar names. Just wanted to check if that's not a conflict of sorts. Not really. I mean, there's only so many ways to say crit dad, you know? Will you make so we can search our listing templates? Probably not right now. Right now, we're really focused on conversion rate projects, Waffle. We will have a sprint or a theme where we focus on quality of life projects. It'll be quality of life player, quality of life GM. But, and then we're going to kind of optimize for what's going to be the most impactful to all GMs. So I can't tell you if that's going to get prioritized. How many players even have player profiles? I don't think that more than one. Oh, Keith, great question. So player profiles, we're also looking at an ability. Keith, really good question. We're also looking at an ability to player profiles would maybe also show reviews that players have left in the test, and also it would show games that they have played. So, but not like the actual adventure. It would just show like, oh, I played D&D with Keith, so it'll show like games I've played, and it'll show D&D. I've played 30 sessions on StartPlaying, and here's my review. So we're going to actually try to help populate these player profiles with some of the data we've collected, the way we do with GM profiles. Okay. So many questions. Qatar, if we can save games, can we GMs then also send messages to all observers? So Qatar, that's a question asking more in the sense like, are we launching this as a full feature? We're testing this to see the outcome. If it is valuable, then we'll make incremental changes to see if we can make it even more valuable. Right now, being able to send updates to those folks isn't on it, but the idea of notifications when a seat opens, stuff like that, is something that we're looking at. Are we GMs considered customers or merchants on SPG or something else? Well, it's a two-sided marketplace. So, users. Saxon, will that also include free session zeros? Aaron, no, because free session zeros, you have to sign up for a paid game. Cheyenne, question, on the topic of names, is there any data between people who use real names versus brand names on their GM profile? Cheyenne, the only thing that's the most important is if you use a name rather than a business, it's better. So if you're like, I'm Billy's Adventures, not as good. I'm GM Billy, better. If you're like, we're Lost Lore Adventures, stupid name. It's not a stupid name. It's a bad name for what it's being used for, which is a pro GM. You don't want to use an organization name. You want to use your name. That could be GM Billy, or that could be Dungeon Master Dave, or Storyteller Sarah, etc. Also, a photo of yourself smiling will outperform logos, avatars, any of that stuff. People don't want to book with a logo. They want to book with a human being. Show them your one. Okay. I noticed that my reviews got truncated down. They just cut off with an ellipses eventually. When did that start, and how can I look for full reviews again? You just hit read reviews. I feel like removing free games from search might hurt, as some people use free games to establish themselves. So I feel like the potential customers may get put off, but that's just me. I might be wrong. Game Chill, of course, and that's why we're testing it. But also, we have evidence that shows for every 11 games a player plays in a free game, they will then, or for every 11 players that play with a GM, that are play with that GM in a free game, one will become a paid player. That's not a great conversion rate. So if you're looking to get paid players, running free games isn't an effective strategy, at least from what we've collected in our data. Okay. Let's see. Question. Seems like I get most of my players from sharing my game listing as opposed to searching. Are searches better than sharing the links? Is it getting better with each improvement? I mean, that's why we do all these improvements, because it just keeps getting better. Blocker GM Corbin, I don't know if I fully understand the question, if you want to rephrase that. But search is continuing to just the reason why we didn't do starter set, or we didn't fully adopt it, is because search just outperforms it still time and time again. Okay, let's see. Dragon Master Roy. Luis Fernando, take the onboarding. Take the onboarding, Lewis. That's the best advice I can give you. Check your email. It's in the critical success email. It's in the welcome email as a new GM. Take the onboarding. That's the first thing you got to do. Okay. Dragon Master Roy, the reason I asked merchants versus customers is for legal tax purposes in the country I'm from. I'm assuming we're one or the other. There might be something else. Is the user official? Dungeon Master Roy, you can go ahead and reach out to support, and they can give you kind of like an official answer. Grant Goodrich. Wait, no, that's not a question. Okay. Druckle, question. Have you thought about hiring your own GMs, in-house or corporate GMs, to handle new player onboarding and seminars? That would give you more control or conversation around GM quality. Yeah, but at the scale we're doing that just doesn't work. We have thousands upon thousands of customers coming to the site every day, with thousands booking. So we hiring a few full-time GMs just won't allow for us to actually properly scale that. So we have to really focus on how can we make it so the marketplace can solve that. And there are some things we're talking about around the idea of new players. Okay. Simple Fox says, so real names do better than fantasy names? No, but names, not brands. Names, not organizations. If you're GM, if you're the Billy Wizard or the Wizard Billy, that's great, right? Because it's a name. But if you're doing like, I'm Wizarding Adventures, no, that's bad. Get the hat, tap the hat. Oh yeah, I know. I got it up there. I'll get it in the next one. Let's see. Okay, find games. Remove free games from search. Find games. Okay, next, flag listing. So we're rolling out a flag listing feature on game listings, so that if you do see a game that is breaking our terms of service, code of conduct, any of that, you can easily flag it, and then it sends a support ticket. So if you've ever had a flag listing, you have to copy paste and then go to your email and edit it. You don't have to worry about that. You can hit the flag listing option now. Awkward GM Corbin. What is the percentage of players joining through search compared to external linking? External referrals only make up around 6% of overall conversions. Organic coming to us directly or direct coming to us directly is around 50 to 60% of our users. And then the rest coming from kind of paid channels or referral channels. But direct linking of a game listing to conversion is around 6% of our traffic. It probably, less than 1% of our actual conversions. I would probably say more like somewhere below 5%, but 6% of traffic comes from direct listing links. Okay. Does SPG have a decent 13 to 17 crowd in games? I'd love to run games on SPG rather than OutSchool, but I can't get enrollments for the teen games. That is a problem that we have right now, Grant Goodrich, because we're not prioritizing kids games. We will be prioritizing them in early 2026 as we're building out a whole new flow and approach for that, and are going to start our research for it in Q4. But we will be tackling kids games and trying to make that easier. Okay, so we have the flag listing coming out, and we have the reduce listing volume test coming out. So we do notice that a handful of GMs will, when they sign up, they'll just create 30 listings because they're trying to do a shotgun method, and that rarely results in success. So it's going to be kind of a scaled method in this test that when you join, you can make X amount of adventures. The more times you have an adventure fire, the more pending adventures you can have. And we're hoping that this can kind of help keep this pace of create an adventure, activate an adventure, create some more pending. We got more questions. I want to use art that's under a Creative Commons license that requires me to make it clear I've made any modifications. There's a whole place where you can put attribution information on your image. You can just add it there. Question: what basics should I apply to get more players on my custom campaigns? Santiago, did you take the onboarding? Santiago, and you gotta let me know. Did you take the onboarding? How's the puppy and the baby? Don't show baby. Baby's great. He's crying in the other room though. He's having a rough day. Puppy, she's just sitting here, living her best life on this couch. 6% of traffic direct. No. I said 6% of traffic is for direct to listing links. That's that's like if I take my game listing and I go and I put it out on search, or I put it like I post into Reddit. Like 6% of that direct 6% of direct traffic come from individual adventure links. If you hypothetically signed up years ago but never did anything and don't have the email anymore, where would you find the onboarding? Dungeon Master Josh. If you no longer have access to any of our emails, because then you have to sign up again for a new account. But you can also message support if you want the onboarding. But the email that you signed up with, you should be getting emails like every week, regardless of like how long you've been on it, especially if you're active. Like anytime you like create an adventure, I believe it's even after you create your first template, there's like join the onboarding. But you can also just message support and they can give you the link to the onboarding. Leland, question. I was just reminded of this. Is there any chance of getting an all ages tag? I have players get confused sometimes thinking that well, there is an all ages. There's an all ages, Leland. There is when you choose ages, it's all ages, 13 to 17 and 18 plus. Santiago, I took it, but in 2023, I would definitely recommend taking it again. I would also recommend leveraging the Discord. There's an entire section of the Discord where it's listing feedback. Don't post in there. You don't have to. You can just start reading all the other posts that people have made. The feedback is so general that you can apply it to yourself, and that's going to help you succeed. So start looking at that advice. That's going to help out a lot, and I would definitely recommend taking the onboarding. If you haven't been running games regularly, so much has changed. There's so many new things that are worth knowing. The onboarding will help you with. Clean out the shotgun listings for the win. Thank you. Okay. Card content, card layout. So the game search cards, the actual cards you see in search. If I actually go here and I'll pull this up. These cards we're testing, and I talked about this about 2 weeks ago, but we're going to add some new content to these cards to see if they actually increase bookings. We heard from a lot of players that that this right here, the GM profile photo and name doesn't help them. They're like, what does this do for me? It does nothing. So what we're doing is we're actually removing, let's see, we're removing the GM profile icon from some of them. We're also adding like platforms to some of the cards. And then after this, we're going to do a testing of layouts. So we're going to try a vertical and a horizontal test for cards. Let's see. We have another question here that is, question: if I have a known figure outside of StartPlaying, is it better? I'm a known YouTuber outside of StartPlaying for Chronicles of Darkness and Curseborn. Is it better? Yeah. So that's actually awkward, GM Corbin. That is a really great point. Because if you're a known figure, like for example, when I started on StartPlaying, because of course I was the first GM, but I used my brand name from, the podcast that most people who before Start Playing knew me, right? Because I had a built-in audience. Definitely use that if that is the name you have and you have a built-in audience for it. That's going to help a lot. But if you don't have that, it's going to be really hard to build that. That's why I tell people don't use a brand name, use your name. Okay, let's see. I think that's it. The charge at checkout test. We have to wait like 21 days to finally collect that data because we're looking at 21 days of post data. That's kind of like our onboarding window. So we're waiting for that. We're waiting for more onboarding data on the new player signal. Let's see. We'll probably be working sometime at the end of the month, maybe next month on the free next session toggle. And is there anything else that's kind of happening that's really interesting to know? Instant book test, save games, checkout improvement, homepage hero, player profiles, remove free games from search, find GM's page test, flag report listings, next session free, reduce game listings volumes for new A/B test, new onboarding active email test, find game. Okay, that's about everything. Let me see if there's any research we're working on that's particularly interesting. We are working on instant book, requires approval, expanded player profiles, new low player onboarding rate, charge up front, players see player profiles. Cutoff time, we're probably going to be doing an A/B test on cutoff time. The lower your cutoff time, the more likely you are to we see that people who have lower cutoff time have a higher retention, have a higher booking rate. We're doing a text spike on our search box, and I'll talk about that what is in a sec. And then we're doing a research on the fave GM email notifications. And then we're doing some research on how to handle ended one-shots, ended campaigns. So it's just kind of a bad flow. But if we do top GM, we want to kind of account for one-shots and account for ending campaigns. And so we're gonna doing some research around that. But we're also doing some research around the favoriting a GM and what kind of notifications players would want from when they favorite a GM. And then, of course, the search text box study. If I go ahead and bring this up, share my screen again. That's this right here. This search box. Right now, this just searches over title, but we're looking at like, hey, what can we do that would allow you to search maybe a little bit more dynamically? That would maybe search over more than just title, maybe content, themes, things like that. So we're doing some research around that too. Okay. Awkward GM Corbett. I mean, yeah, I would love to know the true number of, it's so hard to tell, why some players don't onboard, because it could be the GM, it could be the player, it could be just life. And a lot of that stuff gets mixed in with the reasons we can't control, and so it's hard to kind of disambiguate those. Let's see what questions we have. Sam says, when are you going to release your songs? I love to jam them while driving. Actually, you can sign up to be notified on that backer kit link. Let's see. Question. It occurs to me, while looking at the screen, the information presented on the listing, does the team have any thoughts on making it all look cleaner? Ross, where are you talking about? Are you talking about search? Or are you talking about the game page? Or are you talking about some other page? Aaron Sexton, is there talk about a mobile app? Not right now. I mean, our team would have to at least double for me to be considering that, mainly because that means we have to be maintaining two platforms, web and app. And app would be great for GMs, right? But it's not going to be great for players in the sense of then you have to not only convince someone to check out, but also download an app. When you can do everything you could do on the app, you can do on your phone. So that's why we haven't prioritized app, because of the actual like developmental cost would be so great that we would need a much larger team to be able to like put resources to do that. Are you guys going to release your song? Okay. I think the platform on the card might help players, but hurt me. I can teach Fantasy Grounds in 7 minutes, but players might fear trying a game that they don't already know. Let's see. There we go. Question, Nina. I remember it's been talked about getting PvP its own thing. Any news on that? Yeah, I mean, what's wild is we allowed that that scenario filter, and it's really small. I mean, play by post is like one of the smallest ones, along with like exclude D&D. But we are going to be doing a test that excludes PvP from search unless you filter for it, and we're going to see, does that actually help other listings? Because play by post has a higher refund rate than normal. And so we think, assuming from that, in a few conversations we had, that sometimes players sign up for play by post and they don't know what play by post is. Because play by post has a really high retention. So even though it has a high refund rate, it retains for a very long time. So we want to figure out if we can find more insights there, and if that's the case, then we're probably going to prioritize breaking it out sooner than later. Question equals, if I have folks out, I run one shots and invite others to play. I send them to the regular listing. They sign up, they play one-time event, then I boot them. If I have folks out, wait, I don't understand the question, Eric. Are the songs human made? Yes, they are also very expensive. They've cost us $1,200 for each one, for paying artist, time, mixing, etc. So that's why there's only 5 of them right now. But hopefully, if we backer kit, we can get another 6 or something. Anything being worked on outside of site research you are excited for? Collabs, events? Probably, but I didn't write anything down, and so it's. I'm really excited for Cosmere. I'm really excited for Draw Steel. That's stuff I'm really pumped to see. And I'm really excited for Stranger Things season 5. There's some activations we're going to try to like jump around with that. There's a bunch of creators we're working with. If you like Pointy Hat, keep your eyes out on Pointy Hat. There's a bunch of stuff we're going to be working over the next 5 months with some cool creators, which will be great. And of course, just like leading the team, keeping things going. Do you think filtering? Oh, so the Factory says, do you think filtering by new games will have a long-term negative effect on people joining ongoing campaigns? We already have an issue with flaky players that bail 5 sessions in. That's a bit of I don't think the assumption you've made there is wrong for your personal experience, but I think data-wise, we see overwhelmingly players have a really long time stickiness. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. If I see our retention go down, then I'm going to look at it and I'm going to figure out what, but our retention has always stayed like almost damn near 75%, which is insane. So that's really not a concern that I have, Factory. What I notice is the players that want to play one way, the reason why they don't is because they can't find that way. So it's one of those things where, why would anyone ever play with a GM who had one review? Right? It happens all the time. GMs with one review get booked all the time by people who've never played with that GM because they read the game listing, it looked fun, and they wanted to play in it. So, I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things where I think players want to play what they want to play, and you could try to change that as much as you want, but really what's going to be best is if you can make it easy for them to find what they're looking for. Aaron says the mobile browser looks great, so no worries there. Thanks, of course. Thank you, Aaron. And that's all our design and eng team. Factory people don't like joining ongoing games, and this incentivizes ending ongoing campaigns early because you can fill new ones, but not old. I mean, same thing. Like we see people join ongoing games with Factory. We see people join games at like the 20 sessions in, at the same rate of 10 sessions in, and the same rate of 30 sessions in. So even though that's like not all people, but most people want to join a brand new campaign, right? But there are people that are like, that's the kind of adventure I'm looking for. It's 30 sessions in, I'll play it. So I'm not too concerned about that. The thing that I'm realizing is this is leading to more people booking. So let's say we didn't do it, right? Only 70 people book and 100 people could have. Or we can get another 30 players booking that fills up and has more players than go through and repeat booking, right? Now, also repeat bookers are also the most often those who are going to be booking into a game that is ongoing, which is another interesting factoid. Okay. Talking about search listings are a prior question. Each of the listings looks busy, all that text. Oh, Ross, you must have not been here when we were talking about we're doing some A/B tests on search listings. That is changing how those listings will look and also the kind of the content on those listings. But what we also realized, Ross, is players want more content on their listing. They want more content. Players, we thought, let's stream things out and like take more stuff out. That's not what players want. They want loaded up cards. I'm definitely excited about Death Wish 5e and Gen Con. I can't wait. How is the pay at checkout test going? We've only have a week worth of data and we have to get at least 21 days. And so right now, like there's not much of a difference. There's like a slightly higher onboarding. I think it's around 3%, 4%. But we still have to wait because what we do is we have an adjusted onboarding. And so we have to account for like any refunds or anything that happens afterwards. And so we have to have this like long tail to measure it. Let's see. Oh, wait. When is my next meeting? Do I have time? Okay, yeah, I do. Okay. Have you considered doing a one-time payment for a short multi-session game? Samuel, yeah. When we first started, we're like, hey, how do players want to pay? Overwhelmingly, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to pay for all their adventures a month at a time, or wants to pay for an entire campaign. The amount of people who do doesn't make sense to prioritize a product around that. It came down to the thing is like, do you want to pay $80 a month or $20 a week? And there's a reason why Klarna and all these like, pay over time features have been so successful is that people want to pay a smaller amount over time rather than a larger amount. Now, there are definitely people who upend this learning, right? But the amount of those users are so small that to make that product doesn't make sense. Now, we do have something for people who desperately want to be able to pay for all their games up front. And that's why we created the custom payment tool, where you can just send a custom payment of $100 to pay for everything, and then you can just have the player marked as free or something like that. Let's see. House Van Sagel says, when folks skip bringing a game below minimum, I will offer a one-shot to the players and invite folks from my community to play. The new folks sign up for the campaign and then we'll leave after, since it has just been one time event with them. The regular players don't do anything. How bad is that so that actually, I feel like that probably just evens itself out because you have players that are still playing. So that means your retention rate is still high. And you have more bookings that are coming through, and those bookings are actually firing. So if someone requests to join the game and they get charged, that is a successful onboarding. So, and then the fact that people are skipping, that'll like lower your retention a little bit. But the fact that you have in the onboarding and then people that are playing, if you look at that over 30 days, like I think that's probably a more positive outcome than if you just didn't have the game at all. If I'm understanding it right, if like 5 people are in it, 3 people drop, and you have 2 people that decide to stay, and then you bring in 3 players from your community for a total of 5 people that end up playing, that would net out a more positive outcome than if you just didn't run the game at all. Let's see. Oh, hell yeah, Ross. Okay, let's see. Question: Are players able to pay for a friend to play? Yes, awkward GM corporate players can go and they can book for themselves and a friend. Okay. Woo! Team, we did it. Valentine, you want to say hi to everyone? You want to say hi? Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. Say hi to everyone. They're right there. They're right there. Okay. Yes. You're a podcaster now. I think that's everything, right? Do you guys have any other questions? Is that good? Yeah. Let's see. Pupcaster. Thank you. This is informative. Excellent. That's the goal. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see. Question: When will the new filters be rolled out? I mean, it depends once we have statistical significance. So right now, we're about 80% likely that the scenario filters will, in fact, have this level of impact if we roll them out. I like to get to 95 or higher statistical significance, which means you have enough users come through that there's no anomalies that could have swayed the outcome of things. But once we're ready to roll them out, you'll be some of the first folks to know. The most popular. So everyone always asks me this. What's the most? Y'all, there's a very. If you don't know this, I'm gonna show you a little hack. Oh, there's like two. There's two other things I'm doing. There's two other things. There's two other things that are happening. Okay, one. The game filter, I'm changing it. So you see here, you go to click on game. I'm not changing it. The Eng team is. You click here. It says 13th age. It's no longer gonna be like this. It's no longer gonna be alphabetical. It's gonna be done by popularity. So you're gonna see D&D 5e first, Daggerheart or Pathfinder. It's gonna be sorted by popularity. It's not gonna be sorted by alphabetical. Some folks ask why. Well, because our D&D Dannies, aka people who are interested in playing D&D, but they have no idea where to start, and they go and they type in Dungeons and Dragons and they get overwhelmed by the fact that there's like 7 Dungeons and Dragons. There's advanced, there's 5e, 3.5, 3, 4, 2. And they're like, well, I guess I should play 1e because I'm brand new to it. And they think 1e is the introduction version. They don't understand what editions are because they don't know this hobby. They shouldn't have to be super confused just to search for the game Dungeons and Dragons. It's also one of the reasons why we added it as a scenario filter here. But if you are curious on like what games are popular, y'all, it's done right here. Brown's popular tabletop. This is ranked by popularity. If I go here and I share my screen, this is on the homepage. If you just go down here and you click browse all game systems, this is ranked by popularity. So now you know. Okay. The other thing I'm doing, y'all, I hate that you have to do to the minute. Let's see. That you have to do to the minute time selection. Time selection is moving to hour and half hour increments. So you'll only be able to do 10 or 10:30 when searching for games. No 10:15s, no 10:07s. It's going to be just hour and half hour marks. Let's see. Question: Do you have the current active player to DM ratio for the different games? No. I mean, I would say it's pretty much the same across. Like it scales. Like when I look at like how many players are in a game, that's how we kind of use it. Like the average players in a table. And the average is running like 4. The average is between 3.9 and 4.8. So everything kind of ranges between there. But like then if you take out and you only look at GMs, like the longer a GM's been on here, like if a GM has been on the platform for a year, their average is like 4.5 or higher. So when you look at all data, you also include like part-time GMs who are like running one game. That throws off a lot of data when you look at like full-time GMs who maybe make up 10% of the population. So it's kind of all over the place, but you see a lot of these numbers always trend up the more full-time a GM is. Half hours will still be a thing. All recommended going in and adding reviews for your favorite system and games, access to the homepage. Yep. I mean, like, how many active players do we have total? There's something like 80,000 plus active players, and we have something like probably 2,500 active GMs. Question, do you have recent GM versus player numbers on the site? Also, do you know what percentage of GMs on the platform are international? I don't. Not off the top of my head. I'd probably say there's at least 20% of our GMs are international, maybe 10, from like what I remember looking at. What dictates your place in the listing order when you post a listing? For example, you run a published adventure. What is the dig between listing 1 that adventures versus the 10th? It's time. It's whatever was added first. So if you added an adventure for at 5 p.m. for Kingmaker, and no one else was at 5 p.m., yours is going to show up first. And as more people list, they will be under you. There might be something that like re-ranks that in the future because we'll only have half hour and hour times. But right now it's just by time. And that's because we haven't seen ranking make a big difference. But we also haven't tested it very thoroughly. So yeah. Okay. I think that's about it. We did this hour and 15 minutes of jamming. I hope I answered your questions. I hope you feel like you know more. I hope you feel that you know what we're working on. Like I said, there's so much. That was a big list. I'm excited. And again, remember, if you want to get the newest merch, we only got about 20 units left. So if you want it, you can get it. Boom, right here. And because people keep asking, if you like the music, you can sign up here to be notified when we start backer kitting for it. Okay. With that, I think we should call it. I hope you all have a fantastic Tuesday, and I will see you back here in 2 weeks for the next office hours. Thanks so much. See you next time.
We've come on down to the tavern for trouble and for fun, and to talk about the old prophecy. And we all sing songs at the tavern of the fights that we have won, and we dream about our next victory. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain. But before we go, let's drink one more ale. Well, we won't burn down the tavern like the times we did before. It was not our fault, we swear honestly. But we'll do our